Chapter 12, Sheng Shaoyou taught his Untouched, Inexperienced Omega what real kiss was. If you are enjoying these audio reads, please like and subscribe to the channel and most importantly share with other fans of the BL community. Not just the driver, even Sheng Shaoyou himself had no idea what had gotten into him. His mind was burning hot. He ran all the way to the apartment building, only to realize that he didn't have an access card. Fortunately, the concierge on duty recognized him and immediately swiped the card to open the door. The beta concierge suppressed his surprise and greeted him. "Good evening, Mr. Sheng." Sheng Shaoyou, still catching his breath, nodded at him and asked, "Has the gentleman staying at my place returned home?" "Ah?" The concierge thought for a moment before responding. "Oh, you mean Mr. Hua, right?" "Yes, he's back." "Alone?" Alone," the concierge confirmed. "A car dropped him off, but it left right after. He went upstairs by himself." Hua Yong had come home. He hadn't stayed all night, so what if Sheng Wenlan had taken him to a private banquet? Once the social formalities ended, that orchid, like a weary bird returning to the forest, still had to return to the domain of Sheng Shaoyou. The heart that had been pounding wildly from his sprint finally calmed down a little. As the feverish impulse cooled, Sheng Shaoyou belatedly felt a wave of regret. He wondered if he had completely lost his mind, rushing through the freezing night in nothing but a thin shirt, all because he was worried about an Omega who had never even had a kiss before. Could it be that eating too many cookies and receiving too many childish notes would really turn someone into an elementary school kid? The concierge noticed the flickering expressions on Sheng Shaoyou's face and took the initiative to ask. "That gentleman seemed to be quite drunk. He might not be able to open the door for you. Would you like to go upstairs, Mr. Sheng? I can swipe the card for you." "No need," Sheng Shaoyou replied. "You go and do your work." "Thank you." He turned away, eager to leave the lobby that had just witnessed his foolish display of concern. But at that moment, his phone vibrated. It was Hua Yong, "Mr. Sheng." On the other end of the call, his voice was incredibly clear. Just from the sound alone, there was no trace of intoxication, only sudden lightness that made his tone seem especially ethereal. "Did you call me?" "My phone was on silent. I just saw it now." "Is something matter?" "Nothing," Sheng Shaoyou said. He pressed the down button for the elevator, planning to have a driver pick him up from the underground garage. There was a sudden halt in the sound of running water from Hua Yong's side. Sheng Shaoyou pictured him freshly out of the shower, drying his hair, sitting on his bed with his eyes lowered as he spoke to him over the phone. His brain, which had cooled down moments ago, started heating up again. But his rationality remained intact, so he said nothing and quietly waited for the elevator. "Mr. Sheng." That orchid-scented Omega, who had needlessly made him worry, called him softly again. "What is it?" "What flavor of cookies would you like to eat next Monday?" he asked. Sheng Shaoyou didn't want to eat cookies. But even more than that, he didn't want Hua Yong to know he didn't like them. He was afraid that if this overly proud orchid found out, he'd be disappointed and never send him again. Irritated, Sheng Shaoyou ran a hand through his hair. He hadn't even decided on flavor when the elevator arrived. "Am I Sheng?" Hua Yong asked, puzzled. "Have you decided on flavor?" When Sheng Shaoyou still didn't answer, for some reason, Hua Yong suddenly let out a soft chuckle and murmured, "Or do you have time this weekend and want to make them with me?" Standing in the lobby on the first floor, the concierge watched as the elevator, which had originally been descending to the basement, suddenly shut back up. With a ding, the doors opened once more on the first floor. Inside the elevator, as Sheng Shaoyou returned, the concierge couldn't help but let out a surprised "Eh?" Vixen and Q, Sheng Shaoyou held his phone to his ear and made a card-swiping gesture. The security in this residential complex was strict. Access required a keycard to reach the units, and without one, entry was impossible. Seeing this, the concierge immediately swiped the elevator card for him. The elevator door slowly closed and then headed straight for the top floor. On the other end of the call, when Hua Yong noticed Sheng Shaoyou's silence, he chuckled briefly, trying to smooth over the moment himself. "I was just joking. Mr. Sheng is so busy, how could you have time to make cookies? The weekend must be. Open the door." "What?" I said, "Open the door." There was the sound of hurried footsteps from the other end. Then, With a swish, the door swung open, and a little orchid dressed in a bathrobe, with half-damp hair and lingering scent of alcohol, appeared before Sheng Shaoyou's sight. The front of the robe hung loosely, exposing a swath of skin so pale it was nearly translucent. The faint trace of alcohol on Hua Yong's body, mixed with the warmth of his post-shower scent, was intoxicating enough to make Sheng Shaoyou feel slightly inebriated himself. His heartbeat pounded unreasonably fast. But he kept his face expressionless, hung up the call, and leaned against the doorframe. Offering someone cookies but making them bake together. Secretary Hua, do you even have any sincerity? I do. Hua Yong smiled at him again, revealing a sliver of bright white teeth between his crimson lips. For Mr. Sheng, I'll always be sincere. Sheng Shaoyou stepped forward, closing the distance between them. Hua Yong lowered his gaze, avoiding the unreadable look in his eyes. His long, thick lashes trembled slightly, as if shy, casting soft shadows beneath his eyes, shadows that seemed to gently graze against Sheng Shaoyou's heart. Is that so? Then why don't I know about it? Sheng Shaoyou didn't smile. He had an outstanding, sharp-bone structure, with highbrow ridge. Whenever he wasn't smiling, his features carried an air of cold, untouchable sharpness. He stared at the face before him, still misted from the steam of the bath, and in a low, husky voice, he asked, Sincerity? Huh. Let me see it. Hearing this, Hua Yong lifted his eyes, gazing at him through the haze of steam with a calm, lingering look. Perhaps it was because of the lighting, but his expression seemed sharper and different than usual, carrying an uncharacteristic edge of fierce aggression. Sheng Shaoyou felt a stir in his heart, his brows knitting slightly. But before he could think too deeply about it, that orchid leaned in. Hua Yong suddenly closed the distance, pressing his warm, crimson lips lightly against the corner of Sheng Shaoyou's mouth. Their skin touched for no more than a few fleeting seconds, so fast that there was no time to react. Sheng Shaoyou didn't even get the chance to blink before those pale soft lips brushed against him and then withdrew. The orchid stood at a distance that felt almost within reach, biting his lower lip as he smiled and asked, Is this level of sincerity enough? Not enough. Sheng Shaoyou said, and as he spoke, his fingers traced up the curve of Hua Yong's spine, pressing against the delicate, sensitive nape of the Omega's neck, pulling him closer. Their lips met. Sheng Shaoyou thought this untouched, inexperienced Omega what real kiss was. When they parted, the lips before him were flushed a deep red from excessive sucking, glistening with moisture and slightly parted. Hua Yong looked at him with both deep reliance and affection, his gaze impossibly soft and tender. They were nearly the same height, yet every time Hua Yong looked at Sheng Shaoyou, it gave Sheng Shaoyou the illusion of being gazed up at by a breathtaking orchid. That gaze stirred within the youngest level alpha an unprecedented, strange urge to conquer. His blood thrummed with restless desire. He wanted to pluck this orchid as soon as possible, snap its stem, and place it in his own vase, keeping it hidden at his home. He could show it off occasionally, but it could never again be left outside for others to admire its beauty and inhale its fragrance without restraint. That night, Sheng Shaoyou stayed over in Hua Yong's apartment. But apart from 2 kisses and saying goodnight to each other before bed, they did nothing else. Sheng Shaoyou felt like he was truly under some kind of spell. Before meeting Hua Yong, he had never imagined that one day he would find himself in a relationship so pure, so close to love. When he woke up in the morning, Hua Yong had already been up for quite some time. He was in the kitchen, finishing up, while a freshly prepared breakfast sat neatly on the dining table. Sheng Shaoyou preferred Western-style breakfasts, but Hua Yong had made soy milk, accompanied by a basket of steamed buns, barbecue pork puff pastries, and crystal shrimp dumplings, with a plate of freshly cut fruit on side. I didn't know what Mr. Sheng likes, so I just prepared a little something casual. Hua Yong smiled as he handed over a pair of chopsticks. Did Mr. Sheng sleep well last night? Sheng Shaoyou took the chopsticks but didn't answer, simply listening as Hua Yong continued speaking to himself in soft voice. I didn't sleep very well. Why is that? The orchid sitting across from him, dressed in simple loungewear yet still dazzlingly beautiful, lifted his eyes, sneaking a glance at him. His cheeks were dusted pink as he earnestly confessed, because my heart was beating too fast. Sheng Shaoyou couldn't help but chuckle. His features were strikingly deep-set. When cold, he exuded an unapproachable, heroic air, but when he smiled, it was like breaking the ice, though it was still hard to call it gentle. Is that so? Hua Yong murmured lightly, I don't think my heart has ever beaten this fast before. Sheng Shaoyou's gaze softened even more as he asked, "Then what should we do about that?" "What to do?" Hua Yong tilted his head, as if genuinely troubled. "Yes, what should I do?" Turning his face slightly, he asked with naive curiosity. "Mr. Sheng, if I date you for too long, will I end up with heart disease?" What kind of question is this? But it's true. Hua Yong pressed a hand to his chest and said seriously, "Even now, it's beating so fast, I can hardly catch my breath." Worried that he might be short of oxygen, Sheng Shaoyou kindly held Hua Yong in place and shared a bit of his breath to help him breathe for a while before breakfast. That day, Sheng Shaoyou realized that Chinese breakfasts weren't so bad after all. He was almost falling in love with the feeling of drinking soy milk and eating shrimp dumplings with Hua Yong. After breakfast, Hua Yong went to the kitchen to clean up the dishes, while Sheng Shaoyou headed to the study for a video conference. By the time the meeting ended, it was already close to 11 o'clock. Setting down his tablet, he decided to go see what the orchid was doing. Despite being talkative in his social media posts and constantly chattering on his little notes, Hua Yong was actually very quiet in real life. Unlike Sheng Shaoyou's past partners, who had always tried to gain attention through self-expression, Hua Yong simply stayed quietly in place, as if always waiting for Sheng Shaoyou to take the initiative. That fleeting, alcohol-tinged kiss from yesterday was probably the boldest, most outrageous thing Hua Yong had ever done. Sheng Shaoyou found Hua Yong in the living room, sitting on the sofa. Engrossed in a book, leaning in for a closer look, Sheng Shaoyou realized there was a professional manual on massage therapy. His expression instantly darkened. "What's this? Is Secretary Hua planning to take on a side job at massage parlor?" His sudden voice startled Hua Yong, causing the open book to slip from his lap and fall to the floor. "No." Hua Yong bent down to pick it up, closing it and setting it aside. "My younger sister has been bedridden for too long. If her surgery goes well, she'll be able to stand again. The doctor said regular massage will help her recovery in the future." "Then have you learned how to do it yet?" "No," Hua Yong admitted. "It's a bit difficult. And I don't have anyone to practice on." That night, Sheng Xiaoyu cancelled his evening social engagement and became the exclusive practice subject for trainee physiotherapist teacher Hua. It was Hua Yong's first time practicing on a real model, and he looked extremely nervous, his expression somewhat stiff. "Mr. Sheng, maybe we should just forget it." "Why?" "I'm afraid I won't do it well." "You won't get better if you don't practice." Sheng Xiaoyu lay face down on the massage bed with his upper body naked, offering reassurance. "It's fine. With your little strength, you won't hurt me. Just go ahead and press however you like." Hua Yong fell silent. His delicate, warm hands smoothed the massage oil over his palms, then lightly placed them onto the bare skin of Sheng Xiaoyu's back. The air conditioning and floor heating had been adjusted to a higher temperature in advance, so the massage oil, carrying Hua Yong's body heat, wasn't cold. Still, the moment Hua Yong touched him, the muscles on Sheng Xiaoyu's back trembled involuntarily. "Too much pressure?" Hua Yong asked worriedly. "No." Sheng Xiaoyu's voice was husky. "Keep going." Hua Yong pressed down tentatively, but the more he massaged, the tenser the muscles under his palms became. Uncertain, he bit the bullet and asked, "Am I making you uncomfortable?" Sheng Xiaoyu was indeed uncomfortable, but not because Hua Yong wasn't doing a good job. His breathing grew heavier, and he felt like he had brought this suffering upon himself for no reason. Hua Yong was focused, working earnestly. The open book lay nearby. With his eyes lowered, he carefully followed the instructions, locating the acupoints. His slender, fair fingers, slick with massage oil, glided down Sheng Shaoyu's spine, pressing along each vertebra one by one. His mind was clear and undistracted as he cross-referenced the book, searching for meridians, internal organs, and skeletal structures. Though his fingers weren't particularly dexterous, they were very smooth and soft, pressing gently against the skin and flesh, yet stronger than Sheng Xiaoyu had expected. The human body is a remarkably wondrous and unified structure, regardless of gender, age, size, or height. Every person possesses 206 bones and 650 acupoints. The book introduces the bone proportional measurement method and the finger proportional measurement method for locating acupoints. The bone proportional measurement method first appeared in Huangdi Neijing, specifically in Ling Shu, Bone Measurements chapter. Hua Yong had read the entire Huangdi Neijing, but he still couldn't grasp the key techniques. He had yet to precisely locate the acupoints he wanted. Nevertheless, fortunately, Hua Yong had always been very patient. He excelled at slow, meticulous exploration and firmly believed that, in the end, he would master it.